Who are you? Who am I? What are your hopes? What are your goals? What are your fears? What makes you, you? Is it your dreams? Is it your actions? Is it your ideals? Or maybe it's something deeper? If your hopes die or your ideals change, are you still the same you? Who are you? Regardless of how you phrase it, the core question is still the same. Old or young, successful or unsuccessful, conservative or progressive, we all find ourselves asking at multiple points in our lives the same question. Who am I? Answering this question is challenging, but it's a challenge worth completing because whatever answer you come to will be the key to your own personal growth. For many people, stories provide a lens into their own inner world. Books, movies, and games all tell stories that people see themselves in. When we see ourselves, our struggles, and our passions reflected in a story, we can't help but be impacted by it. It allows the viewer to be immersed even further, and it raises the emotional stakes. While any type of character can fill this role, it's most often the main character. A main character can make or break a story, and Josuke Higashikata is a perfect main character, although it's for a reason that I don't think you're expecting. To prove my point, we first need to discuss what makes a great main character. An argument for what makes a great main character could be made for many different character traits. Like, look at Luffy. Some people love him for his goofiness and his ability to put a smile on their face. Some love him for his strength and prowess with his powers, and others love him for his unending confidence and for his endless pursuit of his goals. Each one of those attributes combine to create the character that is Monkey D. Luffy. But what one makes him a good main character? The truth is that it's all of the above, but not simply because of each individual trait being present. Instead, it's due to the viewer's ability to relate to each of these aspects of Luffy and the effect that these qualities have on them. While the lives and talents of each individual One Piece viewer is very different, each one can see a part of themselves in Luffy. These viewers probably aren't facing off against warlords of the sea in their day-to-day lives, but they are facing their own challenges. Unless you are fighting warlords of the sea, then best of luck, I guess. When a viewer sees Luffy fight for his dreams and never give up, they see themselves pushing against their own challenges and fighting to chase their dreams. While there's a lot to love about Luffy, what makes him truly great is his ability to relate to the viewer and their own personal struggles, and for his ability to impact the viewer on a personal level. I believe that this relatability is what makes a truly great main character. Josuke Higashikata from JoJolion shares a lot of these same traits with Luffy. He's funny at times, he's extremely determined, and he never stops fighting for his goals. However, Josuke is the perfect main character. Luffy is a phenomenal character, don't get me wrong, but Josuke, well, he's perfect. Let me prove it to you. There will be minimal spoilers for JoJolion in this video, so don't worry if you have yet to read the manga. The only things that will be spoiled in this video is Josuke's overall character arc and some of the information that's presented early on regarding the main mystery. I will not be spoiling the ending or the conclusions to those mysteries. To fully understand what makes Josuke the perfect main character, we need to start from the very beginning. Chapter 1 of JoJolion opens with Yasuo Hirose hiding from her ex. Things with him are complicated. After all, they kissed once and Yasuo clearly regrets it. She's wondering when he'll go away when the ground behind her moves. There's a man half buried in the dirt and he's reaching out to her. She doesn't know who this man is or why he's in the dirt, and she soon learns that neither does he when he asks her, "Who am I and what am I doing here?" This is Josuke Higashikata, and right from chapter 1, his character arc's foundation is set in place. Who is Josuke Higashikata? You might assume that that was the answer here. He's Josuke, but this is not his real name. Josuke is the name given to him by Yasuo after she finds him, and Higashikata is the family name of the family who takes him in after he's found. See, Josuke has no memories. He doesn't remember anything that took place before Yasuo found him in the dirt. He doesn't know who he is, who his family is, why the hell he's in a sailor's outfit, or anything else. Essentially, if it's not a basic object or a bodily function, he doesn't remember it. Honestly, he's pretty lucky though, because that means he can watch Attack on Titan for the first time again.
That memory serves as an example to us all! the courageous edgers, the anguished looks-maxers. Their lives have meaning because we, the Sigmas, refuse to forget them.
In the next few chapters, Yasuo helps Josuke try and figure out who he is. She knows where the hat shop that Josuke's sailor hat is sold at, and after some investigating there, the pair find out that the hat was sold to a man named Yoshikage Kira. They then assume that Josuke must be Kira, and so they break into his apartment. The contents of the apartment are quite shocking. A naked woman, disturbing pictures, statues of hands, and even jars full of nail clippings. Despite the evidence indicating that Josuke is probably Kira, both Josuke and Yasuo say that he can't be Kira because everything about the apartment and the things within don't fit with who Josuke seems to be. This is eventually confirmed by an attacking stand user, and this brings Josuke back to square one until chapter 8. In this chapter, things get a bit complicated. Yasuo has a DNA test done on Josuke and Kira, and the results shock her. The test shows that Kira and Josuke share 95% of their DNA. This means that they're the same person. This is quite perplexing because just a few chapters before, Kira's dead body was found at the same location where Josuke was found. He literally can't be Kira because Kira is dead. So the question arises once again, who is Josuke Higashikata? This is one of the main mysteries of the manga, but it's also a core question for Josuke and his character arc. Yasuo and Josuke continue to look for more clues that could help them figure out who he is. While chasing down a lead, a stand begins to attack Josuke. The battle is a fun one in my opinion, and in the end, Josuke is able to figure out the stand's rules and win the day. After his victory, he asks the stand user some questions, and of course, the first question he asks is, who am I? The user takes him back to the grounds where he was found, and she demonstrates that the ground around the Higashikata estate has the ability to combine things, and it's been a well-kept secret within the family for years. This is where Josuke was found buried in the ground with Kira's body. The user demonstrates this power with an orange and a lemon, and Josuke begins to cry as he realizes the truth of what's being revealed to him. The user tells Josuke, your true identity is my older brother, Yoshikage Kira. There's no doubt about it, but that's only part of you. There's another person. You are a fusion of Yoshikage's body and your own. This is where Josuke's mystery shifts a bit. Before, the question was, is Josuke Yoshikage Kira? Now the question is who was he before he combined with Kira? This combination of bodies is also why he has 4 balls.
Google, show me this guy's balls, please.
Before moving further into the manga, I want to touch on a conversation that takes place in chapter 27. Josuke is confronting Norisuke Higashikata about various questions he has, and after answering those questions, Norisuke tells Josuke this: as for who the other person in you is, I don't know, but at the end of the day, the only one who can find out who you are is you. This is a key point to Josuke's character journey. Let's explore this idea more. It might seem like Norisuke is telling Josuke that the only way they'll know who the other person is if Josuke gets his memories back. But with the themes of the story and Josuke's overall character arc in mind, this line reads a lot more like Norisuke is telling Josuke that only he can figure out who he is in a philosophical sense. Norisuke knows that Josuke's memories are gone, and so he knows that the only one who can figure out what his values, goals, and passions are is Josuke. Just before the line I already shared, Norisuke says, I have my hopes in the Yoshikage Kira inside of you. Once again, this isn't literal. Norisuke knows that Kira is dead, and with his death goes the information that Kira had collected regarding the story's main mystery. He knows that Josuke is not Kira. So when he says that line to Josuke, he's telling him that he's something different, something new. He's only part Kira, and regardless of the rest, that part gives Norisuke hope. It's not entirely clear if he believes that Josuke is the other person who merged with Kira, or if he's someone entirely different, but honestly, that doesn't matter. What does matter is the foundation that is being laid for Josuke's character. From this point forward, the question around Josuke fully shifts from who am I, and it changes to who was I. The text will continue to have Josuke literally ask, who am I, but the context is very different. Instead of that question meaning who is that other person, it means who is that other person and am I still that guy?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
The story does answer the question of who that other person was, but it's not important for my point, so I'm not going to spoil that. The important detail that comes with the discovery of the other identity is where Josuke's character goes next. In many panels after learning his true identity, Josuke will say, I am Josuke Higashikata, and he follows that statement with the identities that combine to form him. The statement, I am Josuke Higashikata, is super important for his character arc because it shows that he's no longer wondering who he is nearly as much. He's starting to understand that he is Josuke. Even with this in mind, his struggles with his past selves don't go away for a while. He still wonders about who they were as people, and he even decides to pursue a goal that Kira was chasing because that's the only proof that he exists. No one else is looking for him, and he has no memories. So in order to prove himself to himself, he chases Kira's goal. I want to note here that he chooses to do this because he wants to. He doesn't decide to pursue the same goal out of a sense of obligation or anything of the sort. It's his choice. I have to skip a lot of information here for the sake of spoilers, but near the end of the story, Josuke finally knows who he is. He's Josuke Higashikata. He isn't Kira or the other identity. He's simply Josuke. I absolutely love Josuke's character arc in JoJolion. While it might not be as complex or as deep as someone like Johnny Joestar, Josuke's character arc is what makes him the perfect main character. Looking back on my brief analysis of Luffy at the start of this video, I made the claim that what makes Luffy great is his ability to relate to and impact the viewer. Josuke is this idea, but on steroids. His arc is all about discovering who he is. Things are pulling him to believe that he must be Kira, but none of that really fits with him. On the flip side, the other identity doesn't really fit with him either. He has no memories of his past, he doesn't remember his dreams, goals, or passions, and he doesn't even remember the other guy's name until that information is revealed to him. Hell, even the body that Josuke has isn't even the same. It's half Kira. In every single important way, Josuke is no longer either of those people. And so ultimately, Josuke comes to the conclusion that he is neither. He's able to find a new sense of self despite all of the parts of his past telling him that he's someone else. Josuke refuses to be defined by his past. He knows that those men aren't him. He is simply Josuke Higashikata. The reason why his arc makes him the perfect main character is because every single person who reads JoJolion will be able to relate to his character arc. After all, we're all literally combinations of two people, our parents. We're all raised in environments where certain expectations are placed on us, and for the most part, we all follow those expectations through our early teen years. As we grow and develop, we start to forge our own path forward, and we break away from those expectations that were placed on us. Most people don't completely throw those expectations away, but like with Josuke choosing to pursue Kira's goal, we pick the parts of those expectations that fit with us and we discard the rest, just like Josuke does with Kira. Each one of us have parts of ourselves that have changed and evolved as time's arrow marches forward. None of us are the exact same person that we were a few years ago. I'm almost nothing like the 18-year-old me from 7 years ago, and hell, I'm still super different from 21-year-old me from 4 years ago. I've completely changed my religion, going from Mormon to agnostic. I've changed my politics, going from conservative to progressive. And I've even changed my life priorities. I've changed a lot over the past few years, and at certain points I kept finding myself asking, who am I? Maybe for you watching, you changed your degree midway through college. Maybe you went through a big and dramatic breakup and had to change your whole life plan. Or maybe you simply stopped liking chocolate as much and you now prefer vanilla. Everyone has changed over the past few years, and everyone will continue to change as they grow older. To be human is to change, and this leads us to periods in our lives where we find ourselves asking, who am I? As a result of this, no matter who you are, if you read JoJolion, you will see yourself in Josuke Higashikata. You'll be able to relate to him, and you will be impacted by his story. This is what makes Josuke the perfect main character. There are certainly deeper and more complex characters out there, but in a lot of those cases, their stories are more specific to certain trials and struggles. This can make a story super impactful for those who deal with those struggles, but it can also leave others feeling disconnected from a story entirely. For example, I saw The TV Glow as an incredible film, but if you're not trans or at least queer, then you're not going to connect with a lot of the queer themes in the film. Josuke's story, though, is relevant to everyone. There are other characters out there who are generic faces that a lot of people can relate to. However, characters like that typically lack a lot of the growth and change that we see in Josuke. Instead, they simply act as an everyman placeholder kind of character. His relatability combined with the intensity of his own personal growth is why Josuke is my all-time favorite JoJo. Not to be a broken record, but I can confidently say that no matter who you are, you'll relate to his story and you'll find meaning in his journey of personal growth and self-discovery. So next time you find yourself asking, who am I? Just remember that you are Josuke Higashikata. Not literally, of course, but you've changed, you've grown, and in a lot of ways, you're someone new. Remember Josuke's story and how he's not defined by his past no matter how hard it tries to pull him towards it, but instead, he's defined by his acceptance of his own self. Accept who you are today, and then do yourself a favor and go read JoJolion. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend that you subscribe and then go and check out my video from a few months ago about stand design. I'm really proud of the work that I put into it, and I really think that it's a genuinely great video that deserves some more love. That's all for me today. I'll see you next time. See ya.
Don't you worry, it'll be okay. Don't you worry.